All right, guys, and we are back for another episode of the Rider Review brought to you by 13K Productions after I believe, 17-13 victory for your Saskatchewan Roughriders in a game that was very controversial and really mixed when it came to reactions. The Riders' offense showed a lot of promise along with the defense, as well as the kicking game. But there were definitely a lot of problems that have to be solved. So first of all, I just want to make a quick note here that unfortunately our guest that we had planned today, Lane Ermel, was unable to attend due to some unforeseen circumstances. So I want to say I wish him well. Everything's good. So we're just going to go over the stats. And so for the Riders, Trevor Harris was 20 of 33 for 179 passing yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The rushing stats were Jamal Morrow with 14 carries, 80 yards. Frankie Hickson for 6 carries, 19 yards. Sean Bain Jr. for one carry and 15 yards, and Trevor Harris for 1 carry for 19 yards. Receiving, Sam Emulus touched the ball 3 times for 51 yards. Winicky with 4 receptions for 46 yards. Sean Bain Jr. touched the ball 6 times and had the ball for 36 yards. Darrell Walker had 3 receptions, 28 yards, and a touchdown. And Juwan Brescison had 4 receiving yards, I'm struggling, still struggling. 4 receptions and 18 yards. And then on defense, we had Roland Milligan had 6 tackles, a tackle for loss, a pick, and I believe an interception. And then there was Jaden Dalke had 5 tackles and an interception. And then we had Micah Johnson with 1 tackle and a sack. Miles Brown with 1 tackle and a sack. Anthony Lanier II with 1 tackle and a sack. DeMarcus Christmas had 1 tackle and a sack. Charbel Davier had 1 tackle and a sack. And the Riders had 1 amazing goal line stand. And then Brett Lowther was 3 of 4 for 46 yards and 11 points. And all those stats are courtesy of Rider Nation _ on Instagram. So we're just going to get the clouds out of the way here. The offense was a little bit worrying this game. I did not think that they did well personally. The offense they missed that finishing touch. Aside from that first touchdown from Darrell Walker. Really the passing game, I don't think Harris was ready. And I mean, what can we expect, right? It's week 1, it's going to take a little bit of time. After this game, it seems as though, revision is 2020, right? I mean, Trevor Harris should have had more snaps in the preseason. It's as simple as that. Going 4 for 4 or against backups, I mean, that's not going to show you much. But yeah, so Trevor Harris didn't really look like himself. He looked a little bit rusty. But a lot of people thought Darrell Walker was very underwhelming, and I'm included in that. Darrell Walker I don't think he showed up. He was there for the first half, and like I said, had 3 receptions for 28 yards and a touchdown. But you could argue he was our best receiver, in all 3 categories. But I mean, it really wasn't a great game for Darrell Walker, and I feel like he could have had a better game. And then we're gonna touch on the running game here. to me, it was a little bit worrying that the running game really didn't get going until the third quarter. Well, and yeah, probably the end of the third quarter into the fourth. I think that last 4 minutes was really the strong point of the running game. I don't think until the last 4 minutes of that fourth quarter I don't think the Riders had a run that went over 2 yards that entire game, which is a little bit worrying when we supposedly have one of the best running backs in the league in Jamal Morrow. But I mean, it is what it is. I think the receivers did a better job running the ball than really any of our running backs until the fourth quarter. So, but when it came down to it, I mean, those fourth quarter runs really, really helped us out. So you got to take some positives out of the negative, right? And I feel like that at the end there, when you need to run the clock out and you do that, that's a good thing. And then, at the end of the game there, why on earth would you leave Craig Dickinson? Why on earth would you leave Trevor Harris out there to throw the ball deep when there's basically no time left? That, to me, was a stupid decision. A very, very stupid decision that could have, if he hit him even worse, could have cost the Riders a season, And that's not to say that Mason Fine and Jake Dolgala don't have it. We paid this guy $1 million over the next 2 years, and to lose half of that would be a devastation to the Riders organization. So I think at least you put, Shea Patterson in there to, run the ball out, because he's a guy you can trust. Shea Patterson in that short yardage situation or to run the clock out there. He's a guy that you should be able to trust when the time comes. And I don't know if they had trust in him or if, they just felt like giving it to Trevor Harris. I mean, yeah, but again, I got to say that's a very stupid decision, and I hope they learn from that, because if we don't have Trevor Harris next week, I think there are going to be some very disappointed fans, myself included, as I am going to that game against Winnipeg on Friday. Next up, we have the defense, and boy, do we only have positive things to say about the defense. Roland Milligan got was the player of the game in the Riders' locker room. After the game, I was on social media looking at the Riders page, and yeah, Roland Milligan had 6 tackles, a tackle for loss, and an interception. He played amazing. I think he was ready to come out this season along with the entire defense. The pick he had was really, really good. He was showing that last year wasn't a fluke. With the pick, he came in and he muscled that ball away, and I don't know who it was from. I think it was from Geno Lewis. If my memory is correct. If it's not, it's not. I mean, it is what it is. But came in, muscles the ball away from Milligan, muscles the ball away from Geno Lewis, and that was a really, really great play by Roland Milligan. And then I think we got to say the second best player on that defense could have even contended for that first spot would be Jaden Dalke with 5 tackles and an interception. Jaden Dalke had a hit list, and he was running around and hitting every Elks jersey he saw with all his force. Dalke earlier, personally, I didn't know what to expect from him because, right, he's coming in to be a first-year starter. He was on the team, I think, last year with the Riders, but was backing up Mike Edom. And, I think Jaden Dalke really showed why the Riders should be a feared team this year, and when you go up and you make an interception at the end of the first half, people are going to probably blow that off as like, it's nothing. But the thing is, that pass can go either way. Like, if Dalke doesn't come down with that, it's probably not a catch, but it could be a touchdown catch for any one of those receivers. And Jaden Dalke really made sure that didn't happen. He seems like a hard hitter. And you know what? I think he could be an early contender for Defensive Player of the Year. Or most outstanding player, and he's Canadian too. So that really shows how good our scouting department is. And really, after playing behind Mike Edom, you have to have high expectations for Jaden Dalke, and I think he lived up to those expectations. If you did have high expectations, and then the goal line stand. Wow. 3 plays, 3 tries, all of them unsuccessful for the Edmonton Elks. They had Kai Loxley. They had Loxley come in there and try and run it into the end zone. And the Riders defense said no. And one thing I noticed as they were lining up on that line, they really, really paid attention to that white goal line. And nobody crossed that, and there were no offside penalties called on that defense, which is something that really killed the Riders team last year. There was a lot of discipline on this team by this team. The Riders, and Roland Milligan came in and just on that last play, I think that's what ultimately won him the player of the game. Is he comes in and he stops them. I feel like there was really good play, like I said, from both safeties. And, I got to give credit where it's due. Lucius Purifoy came in, and Lucius Purifoy was playing like a beast. And, the Riders had him 2 seasons ago, I think it was. And Lucius Purifoy was playing really great. And now he's playing really great again for the Edmonton Elks. And, what can I say? And then last but not least, we're going to talk about the kicking situation here. 3 of 4, longest 46, and you got 11 points. Lowther, it's a little bit worrying, but I don't think you can put too much stock into one missed field goal because he's taking reps with a different holder, and that, from what I've heard, that can really throw somebody off. The new punter, I don't remember what his name is. Korzak, I think. Which he himself had a really, really, really great game. Those were some nice punts inside the 5-yard line, pinning the Elks deep at their 1. It was wow. Korzak, I think he might have won the starting punter job. Maybe they have some healthy competition between him and Vedvik, but that was a really, really great game from Korzak. And I believe Korzak is a rookie too. So, yeah. Lowther, what can you say about, 75%? It's tough. I think we got to, wait till we're in, I think we wait till, after the bye week when they've had more reps, when they've had time to really get into the flow of the game. And then we can start making judgments, So, yeah, that is pretty much it for this podcast. I know it's another short one, but I had no guest today. Next week I'll be trying to get a guest. Hopefully I can get a guest, but I'll be going to the game. So, I'm looking forward to that. If any of you guys are going to the game, make sure you stop, say hi, and see if you see me. And thank you guys so much for listening to the 3rd episode of the Rider Review podcast, hosted by myself, Caden Hardy. And thank you guys, and I will see you next week after the Riders take on and have hopefully beaten, making a statement to the CFL. Hopefully, after they have hopefully taken a win against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.